flattening everything in their path. The threat that seemed like a certain death sentence had vanished like a bad dream. The survivors stood in the quiet, feeling like they were in a trance. Am I dreaming? Did a bunch of donkeys just save us? Where did they come from and why? Liloi felt his brain short-circuiting. Turning to his partner for some kind of logical explanation, Too Long asked, "Be straight with me. Is Tatram actually a closet summoner?" Too Long replied with a dazed expression, "I have no idea anymore. My brain has been short-circuited by shock so many times today." Hoi couldn't wrap his mind around the logistics. Did Tatram seriously conjure those donkeys? Is he actually a high-level summoner? No way. What kind of person summons a literal army of thousands of farm animals? This violates every law of magic. As if the universe itself had already cast Tatram as the star of the show, he casually looted the prize young Master Law had spent a fortune trying to find. What have we here? He lifted a small chest, clicking it open to reveal a shimmering golden key. A legendary encounter landed right in his lap without him lifting a finger. It's merging with my body. It feels like a skeleton key meant to unlock a great mystery. The Spider Queen met an utterly humiliating end, trampled into the dirt by the relentless stampede of the Donkey Legion. If Lai Shuangyan hadn't witnessed the massacre firsthand, she would have dismissed it as a hallucination. How could a nightmare boss like the Spider Queen be crushed to death by 10,000 donkeys? Why does reality feel like a fever dream right now? Well, it feels surreal because the protagonist didn't do the heavy lifting himself. The system simply rained chaos from the heavens onto Tram's behalf. Outside, young Master Law wailed in agony. "Someone tell me what just happened. Why were there so many donkeys? I demand a formal explanation." Meanwhile, students cheered. "We're alive! I really thought we were ghost meat." Who actually pulled off the rescue? Was it that guy Tatram? Did he really summon a protective herd of donkeys with a nursery rhyme? By the way, what were the magic words? I need to memorize them for the next time my life is on the line. Something about Li Lang Tu being a moron and Nui Tat Hoi being a paper tiger. I think that was the trigger. I'm writing that down. The two targets of that incantation ground their teeth in pure frustration, helpless to argue after such a bizarre and effective display of power. Nui Tat Hoi quietly dropped his arrogance toward the protagonist. Tatram isn't just some classless scrub. He's deeper than he looks. The guy is a hidden master. In total contrast, Lai Lang Tu flatly refused to give credit where it was due. "No way! Totally impossible! I don't care where those donkeys came from, but Tatram didn't save a soul. At Academy number 2, everyone knows he's a talentless bottom feeder." Nui Tat Hoi found himself agreeing with the protagonist's earlier roast. Tatram was right about one thing. You really are a big idiot. The queen was dead, but the 2-star underlings were still swarming the area. The surviving recruits shouted to one another, "The queen is down, but the saw-toothed monsters are still hungry. Everyone evacuate the zone immediately. Run for the portal. We're finally going home." In the scramble, Trio Lo seized the chance to settle a petty grudge. She cast Mother Earth, Desertification, liquefying the ground to swallow Thach Hao in a pit of quicksand. Thach Hao screamed in terror, "Help! Someone pull me out!" But with the chaos of the retreat and everyone looking out for number 1, no one turned back to save him. After using a monster as a murder weapon, Trio Lo adjusted her glasses as if nothing had happened, crossing Thach Hao off her mental hit list. "I told you I'd remember you. That's the tax for getting on my bad side. Next up, Tu Hua Hua." The protagonist winced as another wave of pain hit him, the telltale sign of a level spike. "Ah! That migraine is back. I guess wiping out a sea of monsters with a donkey stampede yields a ton of experience." Noticing his friend staggering, Too Long asked with genuine worry, "Tatram, are you holding up?" Tatram flashed a pained grin. "I'm great. I just hit 3-star. Liloi and Too Long froze, their eyes wide. "Are you serious?" 3-star already. Brother Toe, If you ever pick an official class, any class at all, your leveling speed is going to become a global legend. Outside, Lethian Dieppe asked frantically, "How much longer until that 5-star space mage gets here?" An official from the Star Tower Alliance checked his tablet. Space mages are incredibly rare. Most are tied up in high-rank dungeons. One is on the way, but he won't touch down for at least another hour. Principal On was losing his patience. "We don't have an hour. Our kids are being slaughtered every minute. We have to punch through the barrier ourselves." Principal Hun shook his head. "It's no use. With our quasi-4-star limits, even if we burn our life force, we won't scratch that seal. We have to trust the process. My son Huang Kai is in there too. My heart is heavier than yours." Principal An snapped, "You coward, why are you just standing there? If you're too scared to act, I'll go alone." Just as he turned to charge the barrier, the live leaderboard flickered and updated. First, to Tram, Academy number 2, 1,388 points. Second, Li Shuangyan, Academy number 1, 186 points. Third, Tu Hua, Academy number 3, 99 points. Fourth, Han Batlap, Academy number 1, 94 points. Fifth, Ngui Tat Hoi, Academy number 2, 90 points. A staff member pointed a trembling finger at the screen. "Principals, look at the scores! To Tram's numbers!" Principal Huin's eyes nearly popped out of his head. "How is that statistically possible? Over 1,000 points?" Principal Lai was equally baffled. "Unless the central AI has crashed, I need an explanation. How could Tram's score skyrocket like that? This is a complete anomaly." Principal Huin added, "It's not just an anomaly, it's a farce. An initial trial score of 1,388? That doesn't just crush our school records. It's the highest score in the history of the entire Empire's high school system. He's a monster." In the last 3 centuries, even the legendary Thunder God only managed 980 points in his debut. Principal On whispered in awe, "Is it possible Academy number 2 has birthed a prodigy capable of standing alongside the Thunder God?" The other 2 principals immediately shot him down. "No way, not a chance. Personal bias aside, we have to be realistic. There has to be a technical glitch behind a score that high." Principal On looked at the records, unable to offer a defense. "The problem is, the boy is registered as classless." Principal Hun sneered, "Classless? Stop joking, Anhui Tree. How much face do you think you have? You think a nobody can outshine the Thunder God? A genius is born every year, a god every century. You're insulting a legend." Rapid footsteps echoed through the hall as a messenger burst in with the news. "Sensational news, incredible news. The students are emerging from the teleportation gate," the 3 principals shouted in unison. "Is that for real? Say it again, they're out?" The messenger nodded vigorously. "I saw them with my own eyes. The exit portal is spitting students out in waves." The protagonist led the way out, walking with his head held high and a calm stride. The digital display announced, "All survivors have been extracted. Final rewards are being calculated." Relying on the system had allowed Tram to pull off feats that felt like glitches in reality. It reinforced his feeling that this world was just a gamified playground. A reward for clearing the dungeon? The more I see, the more this feels like a RPG world. I'm actually starting to enjoy this exploration. The screen updated. Based on your Imperial Flower performance, your adventure rank is S rank. Reward: 1 God-slaying point. Item: Spider Queen's secret sedative. The principals rushed to meet the crowd. The survivors looked battered but relieved. "Look, so many made it back. It's a miracle. But I have to know, who turned the tide and saved the day?" Principal Lai smiled proudly. "It had to be Lai Shuangyan, without question. She's the strongest talent across all 3 schools. Only she could perform a miracle of this scale." Principal Huin chipped in, "Or maybe Tio Hua. He's full of surprises and is the most entertaining student at Academy number 3. Principal Ann nudged the others, suggesting, "Is it so hard to believe Tram did it? Look at his score, it's astronomical. He clearly dominated the battlefield." The other 2 headmasters immediately closed ranks, dismissing the idea in unison. "No way, that's completely out of the question." Principal Hun was particularly blunt. ManHwa tree, wake up and smell the coffee. Stop pinning your hopes on a classless kid. If he actually pulled this off, I'll personally hand him a pass to the formless secret realm, our academy number, 3's most exclusive annual training ground. Principal An let out a heavy sigh. Well, this is the closest my school has ever come to outranking yours, even if everyone thinks it's a pipe dream. Principal Lai turned to the girl everyone called the Triple Academy Prodigy, expecting a confirmation of her victory. Shuangyan, tell the group how you managed to save everyone. I wasn't the one who rescued the students, she stated flatly. Principal Huin's eyes lit up as he pivoted to his own student. Outstanding work, Hua. You've done us proud. Not only did Academy number 3 crush Academy number 2, but it looks like we've finally dethroned Academy number 1. Hua looked like he wanted to vanish. Sir, I didn't actually do anything heroic. But Principal Huin was too busy soaking up the imagined glory to listen. He pressed on. Don't be so humble. Tell us about the legendary feats you performed inside that hellhole. The confused Hua scratched his head and stammered. Does finding a new foster father count as a heroic feat? Principal Huin delivered a swift smack to the back of the boy's head to stop the nonsense. Stop joking around. This is serious. Li Shuangyan finally intervened to set the record straight. She spoke the truth clearly. Principals, it was Tram who fought through the chaos and ensured everyone's survival. Principal An's voice cracked with a mix of shock and pure joy. Tram? You're telling me it was actually you? Principal An was a bundle of nerves. Man, why are my hands shaking? Tram really saved the day. It feels like I'm dreaming. The protagonist looked up and asked, Just checking, but is there a bounty or some kind of reward for playing the hero? Principal Lai, regaining his composure, replied, Indeed there is. A feat this massive will be logged with the Star Tower Alliance. Once he confirmed there was something in it for him, the protagonist didn't mind the spotlight. In that case, I'll take the credit. It was definitely me. Principal An finally let out a triumphant roar. Academy number 2 is finally back on top. Back in the day, Mo Dung Lu Lim had the points, but our school still lagged behind. Now, Tram's score alone beats both other academies combined. We've taken first place. Principal Huin remained in stubborn denial, acting like a sore loser. Impossible. He's classless. There's no mechanical way he could pull that off. It's not an insult, it's a fact. I could stand here and let a loser like him hit me, and he still couldn't win. The protagonist didn't bother arguing. Instead, a single punch from Tram sent Principal Huin flying through the air. It's safe to say those harmless words cost Principal Huin every ounce of his dignity. Principal An immediately jumped on the opportunity to collect the prize. Huin Lam Chin, you gave your word. Fork over the entry permits for the formless secret realm right now. Principal Lai was the only one looking at the bigger picture. Everyone, stay back. A 1-star dungeon suddenly mutating into a 2-star zone is unheard of. And this business with the 10,000 summoned donkeys is bizarre. The Alliance will have to investigate. As the crowd thinned out, the protagonist lingered to ask, One more thing. What exactly are god-slaying points? Principal An explained, Those are legendary marks awarded only for flawless god-tier runs. Even S-rank achievers usually walk away empty-handed. Principal Lai's eyes widened as he realized the implication. Tram, don't tell me you actually earned one? The protagonist shrugged and muttered, I only managed to get 1 point. Principal Lai nearly choked. You only got one? Do you realize most elite university grads never see a single point in their entire academic careers? Tram, I've seen many geniuses, but you've genuinely floored me. As far as the records go, you're the first Middle Academy student in history to ever secure a god-slaying point. Principal An was beaming, his pride swelling with every new achievement. This is incredible! You're the undisputed champion of the trials. Since Mo Dung Lu Liam is our star alum, she'll help you secure a special non-class skill. Don't waste this chance. The protagonist felt the cold sweat. That love confession I shouted to trigger the system's rewards probably has her fuming. If she sees me, she's more likely to skin me alive than give me a skill. Meanwhile, Lai Shuang-nyan saw Tu Tram as the new mountain to climb. You won this round, Tu Tram, but the national examination is the real test. I'll see you in a month. I'm taking that provincial scholar title. The protagonist replied with total honesty, Honestly, you shouldn't bother measuring yourself against me. Li Shengyan frowned, feeling insulted. Are you looking down on me now? He looked as relaxed as if he were playing a casual mobile game. No, it's just that I'm basically an AFK player. The massive advantage of his system was something an ordinary person couldn't fathom. Li Shuangyan was left scratching her head. FK, is that some kind of rare passive skill? At that very moment, in a desolate wasteland of scorched earth and jagged stone, screams of agony pierced the air. Mercy! Let us go! We beg of you, have mercy. But the hooded figures ignored the cries of the victims bound to the altars. They chanted in a dark rhythm, Great wild god, master of the coming age, we, the servants of the wild god cult, offer these souls to you. Grant us the power to overturn this world. The dark ritual reached its peak. The prisoners tied to the stakes withered instantly as their life force was ripped from their bodies. A cultist let out a hiss of joy. It's happening! The wild god has acknowledged our tribute. After all these sacrifices, we finally have a manifestation. A colossal, translucent, demonic head coalesced in the air, radiating pure malice. The fanatics trembled in awe. The great wild god. Even a mere shadow of his presence is enough to crush our spirits. I can't believe this branch was chosen for a visitation. The entity's voice boomed, vibrating through their very bones. I am deeply displeased. The three followers pressed their foreheads into the dirt. Great One, what has caused your anger? Your servants are ready to strike down anyone who offends you. My fourth son ventured out to feast on human flesh, only to be slaughtered. That is the reason I have manifested. The cultists gasped. Who could be so reckless? Who dared to lay a hand on the Fourth Highness? The wild god commanded, Hunt them down. Bring me their identity. A follower bowed low. Rest assured, Lord. The Fourth Highness was a B-rank powerhouse. Such a death leaves a massive trail. The cult will find the culprit no matter where they hide. The phantom began to dissolve, leaving one final chilling promise. Regardless of who they are, they will suffer. Even if the Thunder God himself is involved, the price will be paid in blood. Meanwhile, at a quiet luxury villa, the two bald-headed thugs hired for the job nervously asked their employer, Young Master Law, are you feeling okay? Young Master Law glared at them, finding the question idiotic, and snapped, Zip it. Do you think getting steamrolled by hundreds of donkeys feels like a spa day? One of the mercenaries reported his findings. Young Master, the investigation is essentially wrapped up. During the trial, a student named Tu Tram displayed freakish potential. It's almost certain that the artifact you're hunting is in his possession. The details were still fuzzy, but since it involved an item young Master Law desperately craved, he decided it was safer to eliminate an innocent than let the prize vanish. That artifact is my ticket to the top. I'll take that brat out myself if I have to. The two men tried to talk sense into their boss. Sir, Tu Tram is a hero now for saving those students. The Star Tower Alliance is already looking into him. If you strike now, the heat will be unbearable. But having been raised in a bubble of absolute privilege, he was used to ignoring the rules. What do I care about the Alliance? Who exactly am I supposed to be afraid of? One of them tried to pivot delicately. It's not about fear, sir. It's just that the public relations nightmare would be a disaster. Young Master Law barked his final command. Fine. Go through Kiwi and put a hit out. Get me 2 5-star assassins. I want that item back in my hands, and I want that kid gone. The two men bowed deeply. Consider it done, young master. We'll handle every detail. Suddenly, a violent tremor shook the floor. What was that? Don't tell me an earthquake is hitting right now. A scout burst into the room, looking pale. Young Master Law, it's a disaster. A massive herd of donkeys is charging the front gate. Through a freakish stroke of bad luck, the stampeding herd had tracked their way straight to young Master Law's private estate. Young Master Law shrieked in despair. What? Not the donkeys again? Before he could move, a donkey slammed into him like a freight train. Young Master Law let out a pathetic cry as the herd thundered through, effectively turning his luxury villa into a pile of rubble. Young Master Law stared at the wreckage, his spirit broken. I just closed on this mansion, and now it's been leveled by a bunch of farm animals. Meanwhile, the protagonist was relaxing and catching up on the headlines. Breaking news. A massive donkey stampede has swept through the city. Miraculously, no injuries have been reported except for one unfortunate man named Law. Only then did a realization hit him. Right. I totally forgot I left 10,000 donkeys roaming the streets. That's on me, he whispered. System, is there a recall button for these things? The system droned back. The 10,000 donkeys are bound to your soul. You can summon or dismiss them at will. Relieved, he commanded, recycle the herd, bring them all back. Across the city, the chaotic donkey army vanished into thin air just as mysteriously as they had arrived. Recalling them was that easy. Now I've got a pocket-sized army ready for the next fight. I'm starting to have some very dangerous ideas. Tram was so focused on his thoughts that he didn't notice his friend Too Long burst in. Tram, get moving! The emergency class assembly is starting. Since he was still adjusting to this world, everything felt like a mystery. Too Long, calm down. What's the big deal with this meeting? Too Long explained. The secret realm went south so fast that most students didn't even hit 1 star. With the college entrance exams only a month away, the top academies are opening high-level demon domains to help us power up fast. Demon domains? The protagonist locked on to the new term. Too Long took it upon himself to educate his forgetful friend. A demon domain is monster-occupied territory. That shadow dragon from before? That was a demon beast. Unlike the mindless monsters in the dungeons, these things are smart, tactical, and incredibly dangerous. Basically, they've claimed parts of our world as their own kingdoms. If an ordinary person takes a wrong turn into a demon domain, they're as good as dead. The protagonist frowned. If they're in the real world, why haven't the 9-star legends just wiped them out? Too Long sighed. First, they're popping up faster than we can clear them. Second, many domains house monsters so powerful that even 9-star experts don't want to risk starting a full-scale war. If we push them too hard, we trigger a monster tide that could wipe out a city. Humanity is literally fighting for every inch of survival right now. The protagonist looked thoughtful. He asked, so where do these things even come from in the first place? Too Long shared the common knowledge. Some leak out of broken dungeons, others fall through space-time rifts. That's the basic version. The deeper secrets are only taught at the elite universities. Suddenly, the system pinged with a new objective. New quest. Achieve legacy of the bloodline. Sired 3 descendants to ensure the future of the human race. The protagonist nearly choked on his own spit. Wait, you're kidding, right? The system replied with a touch of wit. This system is a professional interface. I do not joke, unless it is statistically hilarious. The protagonist flared up. This is garbage. I'm still a teenager and you're asking for a family tree? Swap this for a combat quest. The system remained cold. Quests are final upon issuance. Failure to comply is not an option. Please begin reproduction at your earliest convenience. Tram turned red with embarrassment. I don't even have a girlfriend. Where am I supposed to get kids? If you want me to be a dad, the least you can do is set me up on a date. The system's reply was a flat negative. The protagonist begged, come on, work with me here. The system confirmed, that is outside my current scope of service. Desperate and confused, Tram turned to his best friend. Too Long, I need to ask you something. Scientific. Too Long looked wary. Okay, shoot. The protagonist blurted out, can your summoner class, summon babies? Too Long froze, looking at his friend as if he had finally lost his mind. Meanwhile, in the classroom, the other students were busy whispering. Did Tram really carry the whole trial? People are saying he did, but the school is being quiet until the official rankings are out. I thought Nui Tat Hoi was the star, but it looks like Tram is the real deal. Nui Tat Hoi sat in the corner, his pride stinging. I'm the elite here. I'm the one who belongs at the top. I won't let some classless fluke keep insulting my goddess Mo Dung. The protagonist felt a massive headache coming on. This legacy quest was way more stressful than the love confessions. How was he supposed to pull this off? His classmates continued to compare the two. Ngui Tat Hoi didn't really do much besides pose for the cameras. I bet Tatram isn't actually classless. He probably has a hidden job that makes him 10 times stronger than Ngui. Ngui Tat Hoi snapped. He stood up, slammed his desk, and roared, "That's enough!" He pointed a trembling finger at Tram. "On your feet! I really thought you were just here to cause trouble." The protagonist stood up, his voice dropping an octave as he asked, "Is there a problem?" Ngui Tat Hoi turned to face the entire class and sneered, "I've only got one thing to say. Everyone in this room is absolute garbage." The protagonist was caught off guard for a second. Then, catching the vibe of the situation, he told Ngui Tat Hoi, "Take a seat. I want in on this game too." At the end of the day, Ngui Tat Hoi was just a teenager dealing with growing pains. He was clearly lashing out just to soothe the deep-seated insecurity eating at his heart. Principal An walked into the room and sharply rapped on the whiteboard for silence. "Listen up. I'll be quick." During the recent trials, Academy No. 2 took the spotlight thanks to Tatram's stellar performance. Not only has he secured rewards from the Star Tower Alliance, but he's also earned an exclusive pass to Academy No. 3's formless secret realm. Furthermore, you're cleared to visit Thien Kin Academy to meet Mo Dung Lu Liem and claim a skill that has no class restrictions. Half an hour later, the board was now covered in notes about the Human Race College entrance exam. Principal An continued, "One final point. There's only a month left until the big exam. This is the home stretch that defines your future. The 3 major academies have joined forces to open 3 specific demon domains. Effective immediately, mandatory classes are suspended. You're free to team up and hit the demon domains to grind for experience and rank up your classes. Also, since Academy No. 2 took the top spot, we get priority entry. This is a historic win for our school. Don't let this chance slip through your fingers." An hour later, the principal's quick briefing finally wrapped up. The protagonist grumbled, "Man, for someone who said he'd be brief, he sure loved the sound of his own voice. That was over an hour." Lai Loi, looking for a squad, approached Tatram. "Hey, Brother Toe, when are you heading out to the demon domain to start the grind?" "I'm locked and loaded." Trong Duyet suddenly popped up, eager to join. "Wait for me! Don't leave me out! I'm coming too!" I want to sharpen my skills with Tatram by my side as well. The 2 exes were now acting like bitter rivals in a messy drama. Lai Loi snapped, "Trong Duyet, I still haven't forgiven you for stalking us last time. Cut it out. Brother 2 is done with you. Why on earth would he take you along?" Duyet shot back shamelessly. "Who says we're over? I've already started calling him Dad." The system was surprisingly lenient with Tatram. As soon as Duyet claimed him as her father, a notification pinged. "Achievement unlocked. Descendant obtained. Many children bring many blessings. Progress, 1/3. The protagonist realized his strategy had been way too narrow. Wait, that actually counted? Is the system glitched or just really literal? Someone else stepped out of the group and marched toward him. It was Ngui Tat Hoi. "Tatram, we need to get one thing straight. You are strictly forbidden from pestering Senior Mo Dung ever again. Cross that line and I will personally see to it that you regret it." The protagonist held up his hands defensively. "Ngui Tat Hoi, look, I've got no hidden agenda with Senior Mo Dung. Don't sweat it. I won't go looking for her." Ngui Tat Hoi squinted suspiciously. "Are you for real?" Tatram decided to put his money where his mouth was. "If you don't trust my word, how about that unique skill slot? The one that doesn't care what class you are? I'll sell you the rights to it for 10 million star coins. Interested?" Under normal circumstances, nobody would give up such a prize. But with the system in his corner, Tatram could afford to be reckless. Ngui Tat Hoi's eyes widened in total disbelief. "You'd sell it? That slot is priceless to me. It's worth way more than money. This isn't some twisted prank, is it?" The protagonist shrugged. "Why would I bother? The spot is yours. But I have one condition." This was a game-changing offer, and Ngui Tat Hoi was ready to bury the hatchet. "Name it." Whatever it is, I'm in. From this moment on, to Tram, we're brothers. The protagonist slung an arm around Nui Tat Hoi's shoulder and whispered his demand. Just call me Dad once. Ngui Tat Hoi recoiled as if he'd been bitten. I try to be your brother. And you're trying to be my father? The protagonist let his arm drop. Hey, if you're not up for it, I won't twist your arm. I'll just keep the skill slot for myself. Who would walk away from a deal like that? Ngui Tat Hoi quickly stopped him. Wait! He looked like he wanted the floor to swallow him whole. He squeezed the words out in a painful mumble. Dad. Dad. The protagonist gave his head a patronizing pat and cooed, There's a good boy. Instantly, the system flashed. Congratulations, you have gained a descendant. Many children create many blessings. Progress, 2/3. It was actually working. This quest was going to be a breeze. He just needed to find Tu Hua Hua, and the mission would be a wrap. Suddenly, Tram's phone buzzed in his pocket. It was his uncle calling. Ever since he arrived in this world, he hadn't checked in with the original host's only living relative. He wondered what the occasion was. He answered, Hello, Uncle? His uncle's voice sounded hesitant. Xiao Tram, do you have some free time? If you're not busy, could you stop by the house? The protagonist replied politely, Sure thing, I'll head over this afternoon. After hanging up, the uncle let out a heavy sigh. His wife, Tram's aunt, immediately started prying. What's with the long face? Did you get a hold of your nephew? I told you to make that call. The uncle nodded. I did. He's coming by this afternoon. Tram's aunt made no secret of her disdain for the boy. Oh, he's coming back, is he? She started digging into his business with a sharp tongue. I've been checking up on him. Word is he turned out to be classless on awakening day. Total dead weight. We wasted years of resources on him. When he shows up, you tell him he's moving out immediately. Mr. To winced. But he's still in school. If you kick him out today, where is he supposed to go? Being unrelated by blood, the aunt had zero empathy for the boy's plight. She said frostily, The school has beds. If not, the sidewalk works too. Either way, we're cutting ties. He's not dragging our family down anymore. Mr. To knew there was no winning an argument with her. Still, he cared for the boy and tried to buy some time. The entrance exams are only a month away. Can't we just wait until he's finished? We don't want to mess with his concentration. His daughter, Ngok Din, didn't look up from her mirror as she sided with her mother. Dad, come on. What do exam scores matter for a classless loser? No college is going to touch him. Just let him go. It's summer break anyway. Having him around is just a nuisance. Mr. To's wife chimed in. Exactly. Our Ngok Din is seeing the son of the principal of Academy number 3. Imagine the gossip if people see that loser hanging around our house. Ngok Din, honey, have some fruit and talk to me. How are things going with Huang Kai? When are you bringing that boy over for dinner? Tu Ngok Din told her mother. There was a mess during the Secret Realm trials yesterday, so a lot of people are behind on their star rankings. Huang Kai is actually picking me up this afternoon so we can go grind some levels together in the demon domain. Mr. To's wife chimed in. I heard the news too. It sounds like a bloodbath. What on earth went down in there? Tu Ngok Din didn't give a second thought to the hero of the hour. She simply shrugged. I'm not entirely sure. When the chaos erupted, I squeezed into a narrow rock crevice and didn't budge. Word is some mystery person saved the day. The Star Tower Alliance is still double-checking the facts. Hopefully the rankings drop soon. She had no clue that the very person she and her mother were planning to toss out was the legendary figure who braved that nightmare. Meanwhile, our protagonist was casually strolling down the street. He was completely oblivious to the two shadows tracking his every move. At first, I thought taking out Tram while he was hunkered down at Academy number 2 would be a headache since he never leaves. I never expected him to just walk right into our laps. Using 2 5-star elite assassins on a common student is a massive overkill. This job is a cakewalk. Let's just wait for a quiet alley to strike. Let's wrap this up fast so we can maintain our perfect service rating. A few moments later, it appeared Key ManHwa had been summoned by the protagonist's call. Key ManHwa arrived out of breath, gasping, "Foster Dad, I'm here at last. I got word you were looking for me. I was halfway across town on an errand but dropped everything to sprint here. System alert. Congratulations! New descendant detected. More offspring leads to more fortune. Quest finalized." Key ManHwa blinked, confused. "So, Foster Dad, what was the urgent emergency?" The protagonist was just relieved to check the box, not caring if he'd wasted the boy's time. "Oh, it's nothing major. You can head back now." The system delivered the prize. Achievement unlocked. Legacy of the bloodline. New skill granted. Strategic retreat. The protagonist had envisioned something glorious, failing to realize that for a guy with zero backup, running away was the ultimate survival tool. He groaned, "System, you've got to be kidding. Is running away seriously my new superpower?" System detail. When fleeing while carrying a shoulder pole and buckets, your strategic retreat speed is amplified by 10 times. The protagonist muttered, "Fine, better than being a sitting duck." He continued his trek toward his uncle's place. A moment later, he was about to discover exactly why fleeing is the gold standard of the 36 stratagems. Tram's memory indicated that his uncle's house was just a couple of blocks away. In that heartbeat, an assassin lunged from the shadows. "Brat, remember my face. It's the last one you'll ever see." Announcing an attack is pure arrogance, which is exactly why this simple hit was destined to go sideways. The killer even paused to savor his perceived victory. "This kid is paralyzed with fear," he thought. "I'm coming right at him and he hasn't even blinked." Suddenly, the protagonist unleashed his solar flare strike. This raw power was the result of days of quiet cultivation and stored energy, making it a force to be reckoned with. It was the culmination of his hidden growth. Against all odds, the 5-star assassin was sent flying by a single explosive counterpunch from a mere 2-star student. The assassin wheezed in shock. How does a nobody possess that kind of raw physical power?" With that one hit, Tram gauged his opponent's durability. Still breathing? This guy is significantly tougher than the 2-star beasts in the dungeon. The killer didn't keep him guessing. "To think a 5-star professional would actually be bruised by you. I need to pivot. I clearly underestimated my target." The protagonist demanded answers. "An assassin? Who's paying for my head?" The man spat. "A contract was posted on the Kiwi platform. Look, just stop fighting. We can make your end quick and painless." The protagonist glanced over his shoulder and realized he was flanked. A second killer had closed in behind him without making a sound. These two were at least veteran 3-star class holders. Tram tried a different tactic. "Let's negotiate. I'll pay you double to go back and take out the person who hired you. What do you say?" The assassin scoffed. "You're insulting our trade. An assassin never accepts a bad review. Our reputation is worth more than your gold." With those words, the attacker in front charged, his fist glowing with lethal energy. The protagonist sighed. "If we can't talk it out, I guess we're doing this the hard way." But he quickly realized he had been overconfident. His first hit only landed because the guy was playing around. "Did you really think you could outbrawl me in a fair fight?" Tram's nerves surged. He dodged that. His footwork is unnervingly fast and fluid. The assassin connected with a heavy blow to the protagonist's ribs. The impact was nearly as strong as Tram's opening move. "Kid, your hands are too slow to touch us. We're from the rogue class. Agility and precision are our bread and butter." In reality, the protagonist was lucky that a rogue isn't a heavy-hitting tank. If he'd been hit by a warrior, he'd be in the ICU. He knew he was cornered. "This is my first time fighting real human experts. Every job has its gimmicks, and these two are a total nightmare to pin down. Let's end this. Secure the kill and clear the contract." With the odds stacked against him, the protagonist made the only logical choice. He bolted. The killer laughed. "How pathetic. We told you speed is our game. You can't outrun a shadow." Tram could feel them gaining. "They're way faster than my base speed. I'm going to get caught in seconds." But the universe had other plans. Out of the blue, an old street vendor appeared, carrying a wooden pole with 2 heavy buckets, shouting, "Knives to sharpen! Any dull blades today?" When a miracle drops, you grab it. Tram yelled, "Sir, I'm borrowing these! Emergency!" He snatched the vendor's equipment mid-stride. The assassins closed in, screaming, "I told you there's no escape!" They didn't stop to wonder why he was grabbing gardening gear. Suddenly, a prompt flashed. Skill triggered, the bucket brigade dash. Instantly, the protagonist's speed shattered his physical limits. The assassins were left eating dust, frozen in shock. "What the? How is he moving that fast? He's a blur! Move, move!" "Don't let him get away!" The poor vendor, left empty-handed, could only watch his buckets disappear into the distance, shouting, "Hey! That's my livelihood! Come back with my gear!" Tram grinned to himself. "Dashing with these buckets boosts my agility tenfold. I could vanish right now, but these two 5-star killers are professionals. They'll likely track me to the ends of the earth." Behind him, the two assassins sprinted with everything they had, confusion mounting. How is a brat this fast? Even if a high school kid awakened a top-tier speed class, this kind of explosive momentum is physically impossible. Tram veered into a cramped, dead-end alley. He decided it was time for his most absurd trump card. To stop the cycle of hits, he had to eliminate the threat permanently. The assassins rounded the corner into the alley and found the protagonist standing perfectly still. He was clearly waiting for them to catch up. The sudden stop made one killer hesitate, but the other just sneered. "Oh? Giving up already? Ran out of breath, kid? Smart move to surrender before things get ugly." Tram offered a calm warning. "Heads up, I'm about to drop a massive ultimate. It doesn't matter how nimble you think you are. There's zero room to dodge in this alley." One of the killers burst out laughing. "You're killing me! I'll give you credit for the sprinting, but if you can manage to scratch a single hair on our heads in a fight, we'll retire on the spot." Tram's voice echoed, "Summon 10,000 donkeys!" An avalanche of ferocious donkeys materialized out of thin air, leaving the assassins paralyzed. "What the? Is this that donkey apocalypse from the morning news?" True to his word, the narrow space left the two 5-star elites with absolutely nowhere to run. The middle-aged vendor, who had been chasing his stolen pole, reached the alley just in time to see the madness. "What in the name of the gods is happening?" The man dove behind a dumpster just in time. Terrifying. No human could survive being caught in a stampede of that scale. Minutes later, the dust settled, leaving the two elite assassins thoroughly flattened by the hoofbeats. It was the kind of ridiculous ending that would make anyone burst into laughter. Tram felt a strange indifference toward the kill. His only real concern was the mystery. A shame they're dead. Now I have no way to squeeze them for the name of their client. I've been out here way too long. I need to get to my uncle's place before sunset. As he turned to leave, the vendor lunged forward and grabbed his ankle. "Hold it right there!" The man whose pole was snatched wouldn't let go. Tram looked back sheepishly. "Right, almost forgot. Here's your gear back, sir. Thanks for the loan." The man hadn't noticed the two bodies yet and saw a chance to make a quick buck. "Kid, the buckets are the least of my problems. Your donkey army trampled me. I'm injured." Tram tried to be civil. "Sir, you're holding on to me pretty tight for a dying man. Why don't you stand up so we can talk?" But the man committed to the act. "I'm not moving an inch until I see 100,000 star coins for my medical bills." Tram's jaw dropped. 100,000? Are you a street performer or a highway robber? Look at you, you don't have a single scratch. There's no way my donkeys touched you. The man doubled down, clutching his leg. "Emotional damage! Physical trauma! I don't care about the facts. You scared the life out of me, so pay up or you aren't leaving this alley." Tram smirked and pulled out his phone. "Fine. Let me call my financier. Ngui Tat Hoi? It's Tram. Wire me 5 million star coins right now. I need the cash to pay for a funeral. I'm about to crush someone into a pancake." Hearing the cold threat, the injured man miraculously leaped to his feet. Tram said casually, "Wait, sir, don't go. I'll deliver that compensation to your family's doorstep later." He whistled, summoning the herd once more. The chaotic donkey legion roared back into the alley, locking their sights on the scammer who had dared to extort their master. The man fled at top speed, screaming, "I've spent my life swindling fools only to be outplayed by a brat. You're a monster, kid." Tram waved a cheery goodbye. "Have a nice run, sir. My specialty is taking out robbers. Far away on a mountain peak that pierced the clouds, the legendary 9-star master known as the Thunder God sat in deep meditation. An envoy arrived, bowing low with profound respect. "My Lord Thunder God, I bring urgent news." Bolts of jagged lightning tore through the sky, drawn to the sheer power the master radiated at that altitude. The envoy trembled as stray sparks flew. Visiting the Thunder God was a life-threatening ordeal in itself. The master slowly opened his eyes and uttered a single command. The Thunder God's voice boomed, "Vanish!" At his word, the raging storm clouds instantly dissolved into a clear sky. The visitor swallowed hard, his heart racing. Unbelievable power. Any one of those bolts could turn a city block to cinders. It's no wonder he can hold back an entire demon domain by himself year-round. The Thunder God spoke first, his voice like rolling thunder. "To come here unannounced, has the abyss finally breached our reality?" The visitor shook his head. "It's not the abyss, my lord. The Global Awakening trials for Middle Academies just finished, and a massive anomaly occurred in District 16. The Thunder God's gaze sharpened. "What kind of anomaly?" The envoy checked his report and began to read. A student by the name of 2 Tram scored 1,388 points in his trial. The Thunder God didn't look impressed. In fact, he gave a faint smile. 1,388? He beat my old record? That's fantastic news for humanity, isn't it? The visitor clarified his point. "My lord, the Alliance wouldn't bother you for just a high score. The issue is that the trial dungeon spontaneously evolved from 1-star to 2-star, and Tram achieved that score while being registered as completely classless. A person without a single skill or attribute boost cleared a 2-star nightmare with a record-shattering score. The world is in an uproar." The Thunder God stood up, his aura flickering with shock. "A classless student did that?" The visitor leaned in. "We're seeking your guidance, Lord Thunder God. Should we launch a formal investigation? It's highly probable he's hiding a secret class or an ancient bloodline." The Thunder God looked out over the horizon and shook his head. "No investigation. Let's see how he handles himself first." Class holders come in infinite varieties, and many specializations guard their own deep secrets. Every individual walks a unique path, and their techniques vary wildly. There is no point in prying into their private affairs. The messenger pressed for more guidance. "But how should we broadcast the results? What rank should we assign to his professional level?" The Middle Academy is still holding its breath for an answer from the Star Tower Alliance. The Thunder God declared his decision firmly. "Report the facts exactly as they are. To Tram, 0 class, 0 level. Furthermore, grant him the official nomination to join Tiankin Academy." The messenger was floored by the decree, thinking to himself, during the annual Human Race College entrance exams, fewer than 3 candidates from the entire planet are typically hand-picked for Tiankin Academy. I never imagined the Thunder God would place such immense value on a classless boy. With the Thunder God's mind made up, the man dared not protest. He offered a respectful nod of understanding and withdrew. The Thunder God mused softly, "Since the descent of the Star Tower. This young man Tram might be the very first truly official classless warrior, a pioneer in a world of rigid roles. The world has forgotten that in the ancient eras, long before the Star Tower manifested, every human being was classless." Walking through the neighborhood, the protagonist ran the numbers. "With the 10 million star coins from Nui Tat Hoi, I can finally ditch my uncle's place and get my own spot. Today is the perfect day for the talk. Independence has always been the dream. I just lacked the financial backbone to survive on my own until now." As he reached the front door, the shrill voice of his aunt cut through the air. "I've waited long enough for such a simple task. I don't care about excuses. I'm tossing his junk into the street." Earlier, Mr. Toe had tried to keep the peace. "Don't throw his things out. Xiao Tram will be home any minute. Just give him a little more time." His wife snapped back in a rage. "He's just a parasite trying to stay as long as possible. I'm telling you, it's over. Today we are severing ties with that boy for good. Torn between his hostile family and his own blood relative, Mr. To was drowning in guilt. He hated his wife's cruelty. At least handle the boxes carefully. Xiao Tram still needs those. He looked up and saw his nephew standing there. Xiao Tram, you're back? The protagonist gave a calm nod. Uncle, Aunt, I hope you're both having a pleasant day. The aunt barked, pleasant, as if. How can I be well with you lurking around? I'll only start living my best life once you're gone. To Tram, don't think I'm being mean. But you're a grown man now. It's time to fly the coop and support yourself. The protagonist nodded smoothly. I agree. In fact, I came here specifically to discuss my move-out plans. Mr. To winced and reached out. Xiao Tram. There's really no rush. Stay until you've secured a rental, then we can talk. His wife suddenly slapped him across the face, snarling, Shut your mouth. From this second on, he's a stranger to this family. Finding a roof over his head is his problem, not ours. Got it? The protagonist placed some small gift boxes on the table. Uncle, I picked these up for you. I'll leave them here. I'm heading out. The aunt looked at the gifts with pure disgust. Take this trash with you. I've fed and housed you for years, and all you bring is a few boxes of fruit? Who do you think would want that? Tram felt his blood begin to boil. I really want to put her in her place with a solid punch, but I'll take the high road for now. Mr. To spoke up again, his voice trembling. Xiao Tram, let me at least help you carry your bags to the gate. Xiao Tram, take this 1,000 star coins, please. You'll need every cent out there. It's not much, but it's what I've managed to stash away over the last 6 months. Aware of his uncle's difficult life, the protagonist pushed it back. Uncle, keep it. I'm doing fine. But Mr. To insisted, hide it quickly before your aunt sees. Your uncle isn't strong enough to protect you. So you have to be strong enough for the both of us from now on. Just then, To Ngok Din arrived, clinging to Huang Kai's arm. Kai, honey, this is my place. The aunt's face transformed into a radiant beam the moment she saw her daughter. Ngok Din, you're home. And is this handsome young man your boyfriend, young Huang? Huang Kai, radiating arrogance, gave a stiff, polite nod. Greetings, Auntie. I am Huang Kai. My father is Huang Lam, the headmaster of Academy Number 3. The aunt was over the moon. Huang Kai, such a distinguished young man. You and our Ngok Din look absolutely perfect together, a match made in the stars. To Ngok Din shot a look of pure venom at To Tram. Why are you still loitering on our porch? Kai, this is that cousin I told you about. The one who's been freeloading for years. A total loser who couldn't even trigger a class. My parents are finally throwing him out. Huang Kai's eyes narrowed as he thought, this guy? He actually made it out of the secret realm alive? The aunt chirped, Young Huang, stay for dinner. I'll whip up a feast of gourmet dishes just for you. The protagonist was simmering, finally finding a target for his frustration. So it's this coward? The one who used that lure to trap me with the monsters? Perfect. I've been waiting for a rematch. To Ngok Din snapped, Get lost now! And stay out of our sight. Just looking at your face ruins my mood. The protagonist ignored his cousin's insults and locked eyes with Huang Kai. Do you remember when I told you I'd marked you for a reckoning? The aunt let out a mocking laugh. Trying to act tough in front of young Huang? Give it up. He's Ngok Din's boyfriend. A high-status guy like him doesn't have time for a nobody like you. The daughter chimed in with a sneer. Why don't you check a mirror? Do you honestly think you're in the same league as Kai? Huang Kai adopted a haughty stance. I remember you, but so what? What are you going to do about it? In my world, you're just a... The protagonist lunged. I'm going to knock some sense into you! The entire Tu family watched in horror as To Tram's fist connected, sending Huang Kai crashing into the dirt. The aunt shrieked, To Tram, have you lost your mind? You actually laid hands on young Master Huang? Huang Kai scrambled up, wiping blood from his lip. You little brat! A sneak attack! You're dead meat! The protagonist said coldly. I was looking for a way to vent my rage, and you showed up right on schedule. Huang Kai unsheathed his blade and roared, You want to die that badly? I'll put an end to your miserable existence. Ngok Din added with a look of pity. Truly clueless. Kai is a swordsman, a high-tier combat class. His falling petal strike is legendary. A classless peasant challenging him is just a fancy way of committing suicide. Mr. To reached out to his nephew, pleading, Xiao Tram, please don't let your temper get the best of you. But why should a powerhouse like our protagonist tolerate a spoiled brat like Huang Kai? He wasn't a saint, and his patience had hit its limit. Huang Kai had tucked tail and run the moment things got dangerous, so he had never actually witnessed the protagonist's true, terrifying strength. To bridge that gap in Huang Kai's knowledge, the protagonist decided to give him a brutal, hands-on demonstration right then and there. The entire family stood frozen in disbelief. This can't be happening, Ngok Din stammered, her mind racing to make sense of the scene. Kai, her star boyfriend, was being handled like a toddler with zero room to fight back. The protagonist loomed over the crumpled Huang Kai. He hauled him up by the collar, his voice cold. Had enough yet? Mr. To watched, feeling a secret surge of pride. Xiao Tram was a completely different person now. The boy had finally grown a spine. Mr. To was quietly thrilled to see that the old, timid Xiao Tram was gone for good. He had truly evolved. Mr. To's wife shrieked, To Tram, unhand young Master Huang this instant. His family has connections you can't even dream of. Do you have any idea what kind of hell you're inviting by touching him? Emboldened by her words, Huang Kai tried to play his final card. You're dead meat. Get on your knees and beg for mercy right now, or I'll make sure my father uses every ounce of his power to make your life a living nightmare. For a bully like this, words are useless. Only a firm fist gets the message across. Still barking? Let's find out which is tougher, your big mouth or my knuckles. Mr. To's wife wailed, He's lost it, completely insane. Old man, don't just stand there like a statue. Tell your nephew to stop this madness. But Mr. To stood tall, finally finding his own voice to support the boy. Xiao Tram, life is a long journey. Stand firm in your convictions. Do what you feel is right. Don't end up like me, a man who spent his life being pushed around only to realize too late that regret is a heavy burden. His wife turned on him, shocked. What? To Min Shuang? What is this garbage coming out of your mouth? Have you gone mad too? Are you trying to give me a heart attack? Mr. To finally spoke from his soul. A man should live with dignity. In my youth, I dreamed of being a guardian of humanity, but I was cursed with a mediocre life-class profession. I see the fire I lost burning in you. Don't back down while your spirit is high. I'm with you, kid. Keep that passion alive. I've got your back. The protagonist looked at his uncle with new eyes, moved by his hidden depth. His aunt, however, was still spiraling. We live in an age of monsters and invaders. Humanity needs warriors. We need champions. A man's true destiny is written in the heat of battle and the defeat of our enemies, to fight without holding back. Unable to take any more heroic talk, his wife reached out and smacked him. Shut up! Not another word from you! The protagonist's eyes narrowed. In his memories, Uncle was always the quiet, submissive type. Hearing him roar like a lion was unexpected. The fire of a man's heart never truly dies out. But Huang Kai, still hiding behind his father's shadow, kept shouting. You think I'm done? Never. If you've got the guts, finish the job. If I'm still breathing after today, you're a dead man walking. The protagonist didn't blink. Fine. If that's your wish, I'll finish it. The aunt snarled, To Tram, you wouldn't dare! His father is the headmaster. He could wipe you out with a snap of his fingers. Ngok Din added, Kai, don't let him scare you. To Tram is just a coward putting on a show. Let him try. I don't believe for a second he has the stomach to actually kill you. But as the protagonist pulled back a glowing fist and roared, Die! Perish. Huang Kai's bravado vanished instantly. I surrender! I surrender! He screamed. I was wrong! I'm a coward! I'm a piece of trash! He was shaking so hard he'd actually wet his pants. Back in the trials, he stammered. I shouldn't have used that lure to trap you with the monsters. I've failed my father's legacy. I'm a disgrace. If I ever cross you again, I'll castrate myself just to apologize. The protagonist stepped back, looking at him with pure disgust. Pathetic. Stay out of my sight, or I'll beat you into the dirt every time we meet. The aunt, however, was still trying to salvage the situation. Young Master Huang, please get up. Why are you on the ground? Ngoc Ding rushed over. Kai, are you hurt? Talk to me. Huang Kai pulled them close and hissed under his breath. Did they buy it? Was my acting convincing? My performance was flawless. It fooled everyone. That kid has no class aura. He's definitely a nobody. He only won because he must be hopped up on illegal combat drugs. Those drugs only give a temporary boost. A true strategist knows when to retreat. I played the victim to lower his guard. Once his high wears off, I'll end him. The aunt clung to the lie like a life raft. That makes total sense. If young master says it, it must be true. Tram has been a loser his whole life. He had to be cheating to look that strong. Encouraged by their stupidity, Huang Kai took his strategy even further. Exactly. That's why I even simulated wetting my pants. That specific detail has completely sold the act. He thinks he's won, but he's fallen right into my trap. The mother and daughter nodded eagerly. Brilliant. Your acting is Oscar-worthy, young master. You really stayed in character. Suddenly, a pulse of energy rippled through the air as the Star Tower flickered to life with a global announcement. It was a high-priority broadcast from the Supreme Star Tower. This only happens when the Alliance has world-changing news. The last one celebrated Mo Dung Lu Lim's solo boss kill. No one knew what to expect this time. The screen displayed the official trial rankings for the 3 major academies. Huang Kai, oblivious to the impending hammer of truth, smirked. Perfect. This will settle it. You can't cheat the Star Tower's censors. His real rank will be a joke. As for me, I farmed a ton of points before the accident. I'm definitely top 20 material. Thinking her boyfriend was about to be vindicated, Ngoc Ding chirped, I can't wait. The rankings never lie. Let's see how far into the dirt this hero actually falls compared to my Kai. The leaderboard flickered to life. Number 1, Tram. The aunt and daughter froze, their faces turning pale. Rank 1? Tram? This can't be. Huang Kai's ability to lie was truly legendary. See? I told you. My father mentioned Tram's freakish point spike earlier. He's the only reason Academy number. 3 didn't take the top spot this year. He's a literal anomaly. The aunt whispered desperately, Young master, is there any chance the system made a mistake? Huang Kai scoffed. Auntie, please. These rankings are calculated by the Supreme Tower's core AI. Errors are mathematically impossible. That's grade 1 stuff. The reality of Tram's power was finally sinking in, making her feel sick. But his score, it's impossible. Huang Kai sighed, trying to look knowledgeable. Even I didn't expect him to rack up that many points. He completely eclipsed Li Shuangyan. It's common knowledge that a top-tier trial ranking is basically a golden ticket to the college entrance exams. Once everything settles, I'll have my father introduce me to this Tram. A prodigy with that kind of momentum is destined to be a titan of the human race. Ngoc Ding and her mother stood frozen, exchanging looks of utter bewilderment. Actually, their wide-eyed stares were fixed directly on Huang Kai. Huang Kai misread the room entirely. Ngoc Ding? Auntie, don't look at me like I'm the hero. I get it. When I track down Tram, I'll make sure to introduce you both to him. The aunt managed a weak, shaky whisper. No, please, there's no need for that. No need? Huang Kai blinked, completely failing to grasp the sheer irony of the situation. The aunt's finger trembled as she pointed at the boy packing his bags nearby. That is, Tram. Huang Kai felt as if a bolt of lightning had fried his brain. It turned out he wasn't just arrogant. He literally hadn't realized the loser he'd been mocking was the legend everyone was talking about. Ngoc Ding desperately searched for a loophole. Is it possible there's just another student with the exact same name? Huang Kai lunged at the excuse like a drowning man. Yes, exactly. It's just a cosmic coincidence. A genius and a nobody sharing a name, that makes way more sense. But the delusion shattered instantly as Principal Ann arrived, shouting at the top of his lungs, "To Tram! There you are! I've been scouring the city for you. You secured the #1 rank in the trials. As the principal of Academy #2, I'm here as the Alliance's official envoy to hand over your grand prize." The three of them stood like statues. The truth was undeniable now. It really is him. How could we have been so blind? Mr. Toe beamed, his chest swelling with unbridled joy. Incredible. The ancestors are smiling upon us. This brings so much honor to the family name. If your father could see you now, he'd finally be at peace. The protagonist slung his bag over his shoulder. "Principal Ann, let's find somewhere else to talk. We're done here." The aunt tried a desperate pivot. "Xiao Tram, wait. The food is almost ready. Why don't you stay for a nice family meal?" The protagonist's response was ice cold. "Pass. As of 5 minutes ago, I no longer have any connection to this house or your family." The aunt hissed at her husband. "Don't just stand there. He's your own nephew. Do something. Make him stay." Mr. Toe finally snapped back with professional coldness. "Wake up. You're the one who demanded a total clean break. Do you honestly have the nerve to ask for a favor now? Look at the bridge you burned. Try acting like a decent human being for once and leave the boy alone." The aunt collapsed into a wail. "A once-in-a-century genius, and I kicked him out like garbage. I've ruined everything. This is a fate worse than death. I'm such a fool." Principal Ann nudged him. "To Tram, do you have any idea why I was so desperate to find you?" The protagonist cracked a dry smile. I'm guessing it wasn't for a romantic confession. Principal Ann barked, "Don't be a smart aleck. Listen up. The Alliance has awarded you a direct, unconditional admission slot to Tianqin Academy. This is a historic milestone for our academy and the entire Hadong province. You are the first student ever to be scouted directly by Tianqin. I've never been more proud to be a principal." The protagonist looked unimpressed. "That's it? No cash? No gear? Honestly, a deed to a nice villa would have been much more useful." Principal Ann nearly choked on his indignation. "Do you have any idea what you're holding, kid? A direct slot to the Dragon Zone's elite academy is priceless. They only take 3 people a year through this program. It's the ultimate validation. Do you really think being rank 1 makes you a shoo-in for their entrance exam? Let me tell you. At every year, even the top scorers of entire provinces fail to make the cut for Tianqin. With you in, our school's reputation is set for the decade. Plus, Mo Dung Lu Lim is a student there. You still have that open skill slot she promised you. You can collect it as soon as you arrive." The protagonist interjected flatly, "Yeah, about that. I can't collect it." The principal froze. "What are you talking about?" The protagonist shrugged. "I sold it." "You what?" Principal Ann's face turned a dangerous shade of red. "That was a high-tier, unrestricted skill. Most warriors go their entire lives without finding something that powerful, and you hawked it? You are the most infuriating student I've ever met." A system chime echoed in the protagonist's mind. Quest: clear a 2-star dungeon 10 times within a 10-hour window. He felt a rush of excitement. To others, skills were rare treasures. To him, they were just quest rewards waiting to be earned. As Principal Ann continued his tantrum, "To Tram, Mo Dung Lu Liam is a Tianqin legend. She's a guaranteed future 9-star master. What she offered wasn't just a move, it was a career. I'm losing years of my life just talking to you." The protagonist rubbed the back of his neck. "Principal, I have one more question, but I'm not sure you're going to like it." Principal Ann took a deep breath. "Just say it." The protagonist leaned in. "Can I sell the admission slot for Tianqin Academy too?" Principal Ann went completely silent for a heartbeat. "No." Then he exploded. Get out of my sight before I throw you out myself!" Somewhere in a secluded high-end villa, young Master Law slammed his fist onto a table. "Will somebody explain to me how 2 5-star assassins failed to neutralize 1 high school brat?" His guards scrambled to soothe him. "Young Master, those assassins were top tier. They must have run into some unexpected resistance. I mean, they were 5-star pros." Law's eyes burned with impatience. Forget it. I'll handle this myself. The ancient ruins are opening soon, and I need that key back at all costs. An elderly man stepped forward, blocking his path. Patience, young master. The college entrance exams are your priority. You must dominate at Tianthan Academy. Don't let a minor setback derail your destiny. Leave the boy to this old servant. La calmed down instantly. Uncle Dien, you're taking the lead? With a 4-star spirit archmage on the hunt, that brat doesn't stand a chance. Meanwhile, back at the gates of Academy No. 2, the protagonist was lounging against a pillar, checking his watch. Lai Loi approached with his gear. Brother Toe, the team's assembled. They've opened 3 different demon domains for training. Which one are we hitting? The protagonist shook his head. We're skipping the new ones. We're heading back to that 2-star dungeon from the trial. Lai Loi hesitated, looking nervous. That place is bad news. Going in with just the 3 of us seems like a suicide mission. The protagonist's gaze shifted to a familiar figure walking by. Short on manpower? Look who's here. Let's bring Nui Tat Hoi along for the ride. He called out to the brooding youth. Hey, Ngui! Fancy a dungeon run? Ngui Tat Hoi didn't even turn his head. Pass. Do your own thing. I've got business to attend to. I'm heading out first. He sneered internally. Grinding with you amateurs is a total drag. I'm off to Tianthan Academy to track down Senior Mo Dung. Once I secure that universal skill, I, Ngui Tat Hoi, am a lock for the top spot in the college entrance exams. To Tram's decision to sell that slot just proves he's a clueless idiot. He has no idea what he threw away. Upon reaching the dungeon mouth, the trio stared at the massive gathering. Why is it so crowded today? Liloi pointed to a nearby portal. One of the main gateways to the demon domain is right here. These people are either prepping for a raid or patching up their gear after a run. Real-world demon domains are death traps, but the loot is worth the risk. The crowd noticed the newcomers and the whispers began. Where are those 3 headed? The demon domain is that way. Are they actually aiming for the glitched 2-star dungeon? Wait, isn't that to Tram, the number 1 seed? A glowing holographic board displayed the briefing. 2-star dungeon, the Broodmother's Lair. Required tier, 2-star to 3-star. Recommended party, a full-scale raid of 40 elite warriors. The protagonist frowned. I don't remember this warning being here the last time we showed up. Tu Long chimed in. The Supreme Star Tower likely updated the database. It's a safety protocol to warn explorers about the lethality of these instances. I didn't realize that evolving into a 2-star dungeon meant it scaled into a 40-man raid zone. This just confirms it's a total slaughterhouse in there. Liloi's voice wavered. Brother Toe, are you positive we shouldn't recruit a few dozen more guys? My gut is screaming, run. The protagonist remained unfazed. Not necessary. Let's get moving. The bystanders watched them walk in like they were watching a funeral procession. They're actually going in. Is it true he's really classless? Yeah, word is he cheated his way to first place. Apparently he has a weird luck-based skill where donkeys fall from the sky or something. Arrogance or not, 3 people attempting a 40-man 2-star raid is pure suicide. We won't be seeing them again. The world blurred as the 3 were warped into the heart of the dungeon. The protagonist barked out orders. Lai Loi, activate your hidden passive. Go lure the whole pack. Liloi had seen enough miracles to trust his friend, but he still gulped. Brother Toe, my life is officially in your hands. Within seconds, Lai Loi was sprinting back with an entire tidal wave of monsters snapping at his heels. Brother Toe, do your thing, save me! While most would see Lai Loi's monster magnet constitution as a curse, the protagonist saw a gold mine. I have to admit, Lai Loi is way better than any divine artifact lure. He makes the grind incredibly efficient. And then, the impossible happened. The protagonist summoned his unstoppable legion of donkeys. This donkey stampede was the ultimate area denial weapon. In a flash, the donkeys steamrolled every 2-star monster in sight without even slowing down. Lai Loi stared in shock. In a literal heartbeat, hundreds of 2-star beasts were flattened. The miracle is back. They shattered the entrance to the inner sanctum. Deep within, the Spider Queen stirred from her slumber. Is dinner being delivered? The vibration of thundering hooves sent her spiderlings tumbling from the cavern roof. The Spider Queen's eyes narrowed in confusion. That sound, it's too heavy for humans. The chamber doors exploded inward as a wall of donkeys flooded the cavern. The Spider Queen shrieked in horror, "Not again, not the donkeys!" Pumping with adrenaline, Liloy shouted, "Brother Toe, I'm actually starting to enjoy this. I'll go round up the next batch and—" The protagonist held up a hand. "Don't bother." Liloy blinked. "Why?" The protagonist adjusted his collar. "Because we're done." Liloy laughed nervously. "Very funny. We just stepped inside. We haven't even seen 1% of this place yet." But the Star Tower's announcement board chimed, "The Broodmother's lair cleared. Would you like to initiate extraction?" Liloy stood frozen. "Wait, it's actually over?" Outside, the gossips were still writing their obituaries. "Tram and his buddies are dead for sure. Shame they had such bright futures. Even if they survive the first room, they'll be trapped in there for weeks. Let's head home, there's nothing left to see." The old assassin sent to shadow them watched with a smirk. "Kids these days are so reckless. Even as a 4-star expert leading a veteran team, I'd be sweating over a 40-man 2-star raid." Those three just walked into their own graves. "Looks like I won't even have to lift a finger. Better call the young master with the update." Young Master Law answered immediately. "Uncle Dien, is the brat dead?" Uncle Dien bowed to the phone. "Young Master, the situation has resolved itself. I'm going in to loot his corpse for the key right now." Law laughed heartily. "Brilliant. I knew I could count on you. When you return with the prize, I'll host a feast in your honor." Uncle Dien groveled. "Serving you is its own reward, young master. I could never take all the credit. Though a small bonus of 1.8 million star coins would be a nice gesture for this old servant's efforts." Young Master Law's voice turned sharp and icy. "You've got a lot of nerve asking for a bonus right now. Take a good look behind you." Uncle Dien spun around, his jaw dropping. How in the world did you get out?" The crowd gasped as the trio emerged, not a single hair out of place. The sight was mind-boggling. "Somebody explain this. How did they clear the exit? Is the dungeon broken?" "There's no way they finished it. It's a literal impossibility. I bet they used an escape stone to chicken out. If they actually cleared it, my roommate will live-stream himself eating trash. They clearly just teleported out because they were scared." "Exactly. Tram is just playing it safe. He probably wasted a priceless escape stone just to save his skin. He's going to regret that cowardice once he realizes how much he's fallen behind." The chatter died instantly as the Star Tower's electronic board flashed a global confirmation. "Congratulations. Tram, Liloy, and Triu Tu Long have cleared the Broodmother's lair. World record set. Clear time, 7 minutes and 28 seconds. The crowd stood in stunned silence, unable to process the data. "No way. They actually cleared it? Finished in 7 minutes? That's pure insanity. It defies all logic. Even if you emptied the dungeon of every single monster, just running from the entrance to the boss chamber would take half an hour, right? Hey, where's that expert from before? You swore Tram just used a warp stone. Explain how they finished the whole raid this fast." The self-proclaimed genius, now looking thoroughly humiliated, stammered, "Well, it appears we've reached a massive blind spot in my expertise." Liloy let out a jubilant laugh. "Smashed the record like it was nothing. We moved through that place like a literal rocket. Check out the results from the realm."
Sorry.
An S-rank expedition rating. Loot acquired. Tears of the Spider Queen. The protagonist sighed. Another shiny trinket, but still 0 god-slaying points. Liloy shook his head. "Brother Toe, don't obsess over those points. A dungeon only pays out 1, and to earn it, you have to pull off a legendary performance on your very first run." Meanwhile, Liloy and Tu Long were soaking up massive experience points without having to lift a single finger to fight. Tu Long was beaming with unexpected joy. "I've hit 1 star. I basically just went for a light stroll and leveled up. This is easier than breathing." Liloy was equally thrilled by the carry. "I've hit 1 star, too. Thank God that moron Ngui Tat Hoi ditched us, or he'd be crying over what he missed out on right now." The protagonist didn't pause to celebrate. "Get ready. We're going back in." His focus was entirely on the system quest. At this pace, clearing the 2-star side objective 10 times would be a walk in the park. Outside, Uncle Dien was desperately trying to smooth things over with the Law family scion. "Young master, I underestimated them. Give me one more opening. I promise the next report will be about their funeral. Young Master Law replied with a chilling optimism. Uncle Dian, you're a 4-star powerhouse. I believe in you. Crushing a few 1-star brats should be as simple as breathing. I've already got the champagne on ice for your victory. Old Dian's eyes flared with murderous intent. Young Master, since you have such faith in me, keep the feed open. This time I'm going to live stream their execution just for you. Just 5 minutes later, the Spider Queen found herself staring down her favorite donkey acquaintances once again. The Queen let out a pathetic shriek. Again? This is a nightmare! Great wild God, save me! Once more, the trio emerged from the portal as victors. Announcement. To Tram, Lai Loi, and True Too Long have cleared the Spider Queen's lair and established a new world record. Clear time, 6 minutes and 18 seconds. The mockery had vanished, replaced by a heavy atmosphere of awe. To Tram just broke his own record. My mind is blown. He shaved over a minute off the last run. I'm not even worthy to speak his name. From now on, he's God too. I'd give anything to join that squad. Forget it. The EXP from a massive raid like that is insane. 2 runs and they're maxed out for their tier. Since there's no star tower nearby to trigger a promotion trial, they're stuck at 1 star. Going back in is a total waste of time. Uncle Dian tensed up as he saw them exit. Young Master, the target is out. Prepare for the stream. I'm going to end him with a single strike. Get the party started. But to his absolute bewilderment, the group didn't leave. They stepped right back into the dungeon. Uncle Dian was floored. What is wrong with them? Why are they going back in for a 3rd time? Even young Master Law was left speechless. The onlookers were equally baffled by the protagonist's grind. Why is God heading back in? This makes no sense. Their EXP bars are capped. They literally can't gain anything. Is he just bored? I guess we just don't live on God 2's level. 2 hours later, it was still the same relentless herd of donkeys. The Spider Queen was on the verge of a mental breakdown. The 10th time! This is the 10th time today these donkeys have flattened me. There has to be a limit to this bullying. Why do I have to remember the pain? Why am I trapped in this loop of rebirth and trampling? Is there no justice left in this world? Once again, the Spider Queen perished in agony under the weight of 1,000 hooves. Even after watching it 11 times, Lai Loi was still mesmerized. Bullying a 2-star boss like a common mob? I've never seen anything like it. Too Long frowned. Something's off. Usually realm monsters reset with a clean slate. Why does this queen seem to remember every single death? Leloy shrugged. It's probably a side effect of the mutations we saw earlier in this realm. The protagonist didn't care about the boss's trauma. He only cared about the finish line. Quest over, let's head out. But even the lowliest creature has its breaking point. I won't let this end. I cast the curse of eternal despair. By my soul, my bone, and my blood, I mark the one who did this. May he and everyone he loves be consumed by darkness and reviled forever. The dark magic surged, binding itself to the air. The trio stepped out into the sunlight one last time. The protagonist felt the surge of adrenaline. Mission accomplished. I can't wait to see what the reward is this time. Bring on the good stuff. A massive wave of raw power flooded his veins. But then, the familiar, agonizing pressure in his skull returned. Lai Loi noticed him wincing. Brother Toe, judging by that face, did you just jump up in stars again? The protagonist gritted his teeth. I'm at 4-star now. It was a victory, but a terrifying one. Why does every power-up feel like a death sentence? My brain feels like it's going to liquefy. My rank is climbing, but my physical strength feels static. If this is how it feels at 4-star, will 9-star just kill me? While he reaped the hidden rewards, his teammates felt the sting of the level cap. Man, it's a shame we're stuck at 1-star. Without a promotion trial, all that extra EXP just vanishes. We could have been 3-star by now if the system let us. The system voice echoed in his mind. Congratulations, host. You cleared the 2-star dungeon 10 times in under 10 hours. Reward unlocked. Skill. Masterful unclothing. The protagonist froze. Excuse me, run that by me one more time. The system clarified. Skill acquired, masterful unclothing. This ability allows you to instantly strip a specific item from an opponent and claim it as your own. To Tram's face fell. Are you kidding me? A skill for stripping people? What am I supposed to do with that? Start a career as a high-speed pickpocket? This is useless. Just then, the Spider Queen's parting gift took hold. A wave of freezing negative energy washed over him. What is this feeling? System alert. Warning, you have been afflicted by the Spider Queen's curse of despair. He was completely caught off guard. A curse of despair? Since when do bosses do that? The aura was suffocating. A heavy, black weight that felt like it was trying to snuff out his life. Was this the boss's revenge? Seeing him enveloped in a dark mist, Lai Loi and Tu Long rushed over, panicked. To Tram, what's happening to you? The protagonist yelled out, System, purge this affliction immediately! The system replied in a flat tone, Deeply sorry, but this request falls outside the system's current service parameters. Accustomed to getting his way, the protagonist snapped at the stubborn AI. For something that isn't even human, you're acting like a real piece of work. The Spider Queen let out a haunting wail. I was born a sovereign of the web, never did I imagine being trampled so pathetically. I have now offered up my very soul as the ultimate price to bind this curse of despair to you. It will hunt down the person you love most, or whoever stands nearest. Your hands will be drenched in the blood of those close to you, and the world will loathe and shun you for eternity. Li Loi and Tu Long's faces went pale. What? A hex that forces you to kill the person closest to you? The protagonist let out a heavy sigh. This beast is truly malicious to its dying breath. This just got a lot messier. He turned to his companions with urgency. You two, get as much distance from me as possible. Run! The two stood paralyzed, torn between fear and loyalty. Uncle Dian watched from the shadows, glad he'd stayed outside. This kid actually blitzed a 2-star dungeon 10 times straight. He's got more raw potential than the young master and a glittering future, but unfortunately, crossing the La Family means there's only one destination. The grave. I won't let any more surprises happen. I'll end him in under 5 seconds. He started a live video feed to the young master to prove his efficiency and ensure nothing blocked his strike. The protagonist frantically gestured to his teammates. Go, get out of here now. If you don't move this instant, it'll be too late for everyone. Tu Long stood his ground firmly. To Tram, I'm not budging. If the curse needs a victim, then let it be me. The protagonist broke into a cold sweat. Get lost, you idiot! Didn't you hear a word I said? Li Loi, overflowing with a sense of duty, was also ready to take the hit. Brother To, I'm terrified of dying, but I'm the weakest link here. If a sacrifice is needed, take me. Just promise me that when you become a 9-star legend, you'll use a resurrection scroll to bring me back. The Queen's ghost laughed hysterically. It's too late to run. The trigger is pulled. Either slaughter your own friends or perish yourself. What a delicious tragedy. Just as the trap was closing, the script flipped to save the day. Uncle Dian burst from the trees. Brat, your life ends here. The 3 students blinked in shock at the man charging toward them. Uncle Dian chuckled, misinterpreting their shock for fear. Paralyzed, are we? You're just a child who hasn't felt the cold reality of the world yet. With the perfect target falling right into his lap, the protagonist smirked. Old man, your timing is absolutely impeccable. The protagonist mentally confirmed the target. Execute the nearest person. The dark energy of the curse snapped into action instantly. So this is the true terror of the curse. Before the assassin could even register what was happening, his life force was snuffed out in an instant, irreversible death. Tu Long looked down at the body with a hint of pity. Talk about bad luck. The guy who came to murder us ended up dying in our place. The protagonist scooped up the fallen phone. This guy was clearly working for the same crew as those 5-star killers, because of the long wait. Young Master Law had actually dozed off on his end. A lackey saw the screen light up and shouted, Young Master, wake up! Old Dian is on the line! The job is done! Young Master Law yawned and stretched. Let's hear it. It took him this long to kill a middle schooler? Uncle Dian is really losing his edge. Maybe it's time he retired. Young Master Law hit the speakerphone. Uncle Dian, do you have the item in your possession? The protagonist flipped the camera to his own face and smirked. Hey there, grandson. What exactly were you trying to steal? Young Master Law nearly fell out of his chair. What the? Tram? Why is your face on my screen? Young Master Law stammered. Where's Uncle DN? Why do you have his phone? The protagonist replied casually. That old guy? I've already taken care of him.
Who even are you? Why are you so hell-bent on killing me?
Even with Uncle DN gone, young Master Law's ego didn't skip a beat. Brat, since you've connected the dots, I'll be blunt. Did you find a small box with a key inside back in the trial realm? The protagonist corrected him. Watch the brat talk. You can call me uncle, or if you want to be respectful, dad works too. How dare a nobody talk back to me like that? You're begging for a slow death. No amount of attitude will save you now. The protagonist fished for more info. So that time the secret realm glitched out and almost slaughtered every student there. Was that your handiwork as well? The arrogant young master boasted. That training ground was once the hidden sanctum of a master of space. I've known about it for years. It recently phased back into our reality and was mistaken for a spatial node. Activating it was a gamble, which is exactly why I didn't risk my own neck going in. That key is a relic left by that master, and it opens a legendary ruin. There are 5 keys total. The others are already claimed. I must have that final one. The protagonist bluffed. The key is fused with my body now. How do you plan on getting it out? Young Master Law smiled darkly. That's easy. I just have to kill you, and the treasure will drop from your corpse. The protagonist clarified. So this is a fight to the finish? Only one of us walks away? Young Master Law flashed his middle finger at the screen. You die, I live. You're talking big for a peasant. My family aside, I could personally crush you like a bug. The protagonist glanced over at Lai Loi, who was standing just out of view. Did you catch all of that on tape? Young Master Law's face froze as he realized he'd been led into a trap. Li Loi nodded. Brother To, I got every word. Conspiracy to murder, theft, and endangering the lives of 3 academies worth of students. The Star Tower Alliance is going to have a field day with this. When the reality hit, young Master Law let out a primal scream. You snake! You set me up! The protagonist laughed. You're slow. Consider this your first lesson from your favorite uncle. Tu Long warned him. The La family is a powerhouse in the Dragon Zone. They've got top-tier class holders and have been rising for a century. Even with this evidence, bringing them down will be an uphill battle. The protagonist realized that toppling a titan with such deep roots wouldn't happen overnight. At least they've lost the nerve to come after me in broad daylight. We'll take our time dismantling this grandson piece by piece. Once the line went dead, young Master Law shattered a priceless vase against the wall to bleed off his fury. They are pushing me to the brink. I, young Master Law, have never been mocked so ruthlessly in my entire life. A lackey in dark shades tentatively suggested, Sir, what if we use the Slay Noon Plus membership? They have a deal right now. Buy a top-tier subscription and you get a 6-star contract killer for free. A middle-aged advisor waved him off. Bad move. If Tram leaks that recording, the Alliance will swarm us. We can't afford an open assassination while the spotlight is on us. The lackey grew frantic. Then what's the play? The ruins open right after the college entrance exams. If we miss that key now, we're locked out for another century. Young Master Law's eyes turned cold. Draft my transfer papers immediately. I'm taking the entrance exam in his district. I'll finish him myself in the arena. Deaths during the trials are tragic accidents. Even the Alliance won't be able to lay a finger on me. In a different setting, Lu Liam stood beside a seasoned warrior. The man squinted at his screen and asked, Where did you get this photo? When was this taken? Lu Liam answered, 10 days ago, back at my old middle school. I've been trying to show you, but you've been away from Thien Kin Academy until today. Lu Liam's mentor stared at the image of the demonic dragon with visible dread. And what happened to this beast? Lu Liam replied simply, It was eliminated. The mentor was so shaken he nearly fumbled his tablet, his composure fracturing instantly. Lu Liam frowned. Master, what's with the tension? It was just one monster. The teacher, recognizing the true scale of the threat, broke into a sweat. That is no common monster. If I'm right, that's the 4th spawn of the desolate god, the entity that has plagued our forces on the primordial battlefield for 15 years. This is the desolate god's own bloodline. Lu Lim raised an eyebrow in surprise. The fourth child? I knew its energy felt ancient, but I've never seen its kind before. To think it was the desolate god's offspring. The mentor's worry turned to resolve. The desolate god is notoriously petty. He won't let the death of his kin go unpunished. But as the disciple of Cao Duong, I will make sure that shadow never touches you. Lu Lim dropped a bombshell. I wasn't the one who killed it. The mentor froze. Not you? Then who? No middle school principal has that kind of firepower. We're talking about a B+ rank child of a god. Lu Lim looked him in the eye. If my intel is correct, it was a student named To Tram. The teacher blinked. To Tram? Why does that name ring a bell? Lu Lim reminded him, he's the kid who just swept the Hadong provincial trials with a record-breaking score. He didn't just win, he shattered the legendary record set by the Thunder God himself. The Star Tower made it a global headline. The mentor's expression shifted to genuine respect. Beating the Thunder God's old stats? This kid is a once-in-a-generation talent. But he's painted a target on his back. With the human race already under siege, he's unlikely to survive the desolate god's wrath. Lu Lim nodded. It's not just the god himself. The desolate cult, those fanatics who worship him, will be hunting To Tram relentlessly. Man Miu Miu interrupted the somber talk. Sis, there's a guy outside looking for you. Lu Lim turned. Who is it? Man Miu Miu shrugged. He didn't give a name. He just said he's here to collect his non-class skill reward. Lu Lim's mood brightened instantly. It's To Tram, he actually showed up. But when they stepped outside, the face waiting for them was unfamiliar. Senior Mo Dung, I'm Ngui Tat Hoi. It is an absolute honor to finally meet you. Lu Lim's smile vanished. Where is To Tram? Ngui Tat Hoi replied eagerly, Oh, he didn't come, I'm here in his stead. Lu Lim's voice turned like ice. In his stead? My offer was for the top ranker of the trials. Only the winner earns the skill. Ngui Tat Hoi explained. To Tram technically won, but he wasn't interested in the trip. He sold the slot to me. Lu Lim's face darkened as a shadow of pure irritation crossed her features. She gritted her teeth. To Tram, you arrogant jerk. She fumed internally. You actually dared to sell my personal favor? If you provoke me again, I'll kill you myself. Seeing her turn away, Ngui Tat Hoi panicked. Senior, wait, what about me? What am I supposed to do? Lu Lim snapped back without looking. Go back to where you came from. My rewards aren't transferable. Tell To Tram to come here himself if he wants anything from me. Word of a reward seeker reached young Master Lan, who came charging over to see the commotion. One of Lan's cronies whispered, That's him. I heard he crushed the trials and came to collect a special skill from Senior Mo Dung. Young Master Lan sneered, I thought Lu Lim's prodigy would at least be a high academy elite. I didn't expect some middle school brat. How many of these kids even survive the Tien Kin entrance exams? Even if they scrape by, they're just fodder. This kid thinks he's worthy of her attention? Pathetic. The crony pointed a finger. Young Master Lan, that's him, that's To Tram. Ngui Tat Hoi was shuffling away, dejected and empty-handed. He didn't notice Lan's group flanking him, ready to initiate a lesson in hierarchy. Lan's thugs lunged. Let's teach this brat his place. Take this. Ngui Tat Hoi had zero warning. He spun around just in time to see a heavy boot flying toward his head. The kick landed square on his jaw, sending him sprawling with a cry of pain. What is wrong with you people? He screamed. I don't even know you. Why are you jumping me? Lan's thugs continued to rain down kicks until they were winded, pausing only to catch their breath. Ngui Tat Hoi sobbed in frustration. Why me? I've already taken the beating. Just tell me what I did to deserve this. Young Master Lan stepped forward with a cruel smirk. To Tram, don't play dumb. You know exactly why this is happening. Ngui Tat Hoi felt like his world was collapsing. He pointed a shaking finger at his own chest. To Tram? God damn it. It's always To Tram. Open your eyes. My name is Ngui Tat Hoi. Young Master Lan's jaw dropped. Hold on, you're not To Tram? The henchman squinted at his screen and stammered, Young Master Lan, it looks like we jumped the wrong guy. He's definitely not the target. According to this profile, they don't even share a resemblance. Lan's group didn't bother with a shred of remorse. Wrong person? Then get lost already. What a massive waste of time. Clear out, everyone. Weetathoy slumped, drowning in regret. I burned a fortune and learned nothing. Then I got pulverized without even a chance to defend myself. Why? I should never have bought that invitation slot. Meanwhile, for reasons known only to him, the protagonist led his team into a desolate region dominated by jagged cliffs and shifting gravel. This wasteland was a known hive for the desolate gods' zealots. From the moment the three youths crossed the border, dark eyes had been tracking their every move. Is that really him? A cultist gestured toward the protagonist, whispering, "While the world credits Lu Liam with the Fourth Highness's demise, our analysis of the battle footage proves she never even drew her blade. The true executioner was Tram. Ending his life is a holy achievement. The desolate god will shower us with blessings, and we shall reach true divinity together." Back at the academy, Lu Liam's mentor sipped a glass of vintage nectar, musing, "I have to admit the Wood Ape clan's fermentation process is leagues ahead of anything human." Watching Lu Liam pack her gear, the teacher asked, "My disciple, why the sudden departure? Where are you heading in such a rush?" Lu Liam replied firmly, "I'm going to track down Tram." The mentor had no ties to the boy, so despite the kid's talent, he had no interest in helping. He warned, "Why bother? He's a dead man walking once the desolate god marks him. In our current state, the Alliance can't stop a god from squashing a bug. Don't let his disaster splash onto you." Lu Liam offered a cold justification. "I'm simply going to collect a debt he owes me." The teacher muttered to himself, "Traveling halfway across the world to shake down a middle schooler? Something smells fishy. That doesn't sound like the Lu Liam I know. Has she finally developed feelings for someone?" At that very moment, they arrived at the ruins of a city officially designated as a high-risk demon domain. It was common to see twisted demonic predators prowling through the shattered remains of skyscrapers. To the protagonist, this was a grim new reality. Is this really a demon domain? I pictured wild jungles and mountain peaks, not an urban graveyard. Tu Long nodded solemnly. The truth is, most demon domains manifest right on top of human population centers. This used to be Bin An District, a thriving, wealthy hub of commerce. Then a spatial fracture tore open. In a heartbeat, a deluge of monsters flooded the streets. Scarcely anyone survived. These incursions are rare, but they are apocalyptic events. Bit by bit, these demon gods are eating away at humanity's world. The protagonist reached down and gently picked up a tattered teddy bear lying beside the small skeleton of a child. A heavy weight settled into Tram's chest. A demon domain isn't just a map. It's hell on earth. To those living here, it was the end of the world. Worse yet, closing these things is nearly impossible because monsters pour out of the rifts like an endless tide. Unless a top-tier champion stays here to guard the gate, they keep spreading. And some zones are ruled by demon kings so powerful even our greatest heroes can't match them. The protagonist had come to learn not to conquer, at least not yet. He turned to his friends. Let's pull back. Grinding here won't give us the growth we need right now. His resolve hardened, adding weight to his journey toward absolute power. Seeing the suffering in this place, the thousands buried under rubble without a chance to fight. I finally understand the brutal reality of our survival. The zealots lurked in the shadows, biding their time. Do we strike? Wait. Bin An is currently crawling with students training for the exams and their instructors are nearby. We wait until they're isolated. The fanatics followed the group like silent ghosts throughout their trek across the ruins. One cultist grew restless. Why are we still waiting? If they get back to the academy, we'll lose our window. Kill them now. Tu Long's instincts flared as he shouted, Heads up! We've got company! The attackers didn't hide their intent. To Tram! Hand over your life and save us the trouble! The protagonist groaned. Are you kidding me? I'm just trying to make it to tomorrow, and this is the third ambush this week. You guys are really starting to get on my nerves. One punch is all it takes to send you idiots to the afterlife. A fanatic sneered. Big words for a brat. Did you forget to ask your elders for permission before deciding our fate? Their taunts turned to terror when the protagonist's fist actually connected with bone-shattering force. The single blow didn't kill them instantly, but the shockwave sent all three cultists flying backward, coughing up blood.
Is this a joke? This kid is a middle schooler? The reports were garbage. That punch had more raw power than a veteran academy principal.
The protagonist narrowed his eyes. Let me guess. Young Master Law sent you two? He realized then that a completely different enemy was at his throat. A fanatic spat. Young Master Law? Who cares about that trash? We are the desolate god cult, the hands of the Great One. You murdered his fourth child. Your blood is the only payment we accept. Leloy added, So it's those lunatics. The desolate god cultists are parasites who deserve to be wiped out. Brother Toe, the Alliance actually pays a bounty for taking these guys down. One cultist drew a jagged sacrificial knife.
We underestimated him. We need to alert the desolate god immediately.
Instead of lunging at Tatram, the three cultists turned their blades on themselves, stabbing their own chests in unison. The protagonist recoiled in horror. Self-mutilation, these guys are beyond insane. The cultists began to chant a rhythmic guttural mantra. With blood as the fuel and devotion as the spark, we summon the divine envoy. Great desolate God, hear our plea. We have cornered the one who spilled the Fourth Highness's blood. We beg you, Lord, descend and deliver your divine wrath. Tulong's face went white.
This is bad. This is a high-level forbidden summoning ritual. We have to run, now!
A fanatic laughed through a mouthful of blood. Run? The sky is already closing. You're trapped. The atmosphere grew heavy as the clouds began to swirl into a dark vortex. Lai Loi gasped, struggling to stand. The pressure is suffocating. What kind of monster is coming through that rift? A gargantuan, demonic visage tore through the clouds, roaring, I am the wild god. The zealots bowed low, their voices echoing in the ruins. Great wild god, we offer you the murderer of the Fourth Highness. The human Tatram is before you. Strike him down. Tulong's face drained of color. No way. The wild god? He's a walking catastrophe. A nightmare that could wipe humanity off the map. Even 9-star legends have fallen beneath his shadow. Leloy was shaking like a leaf. Brother Toe, since when do you have beef with a demon god? Slaying the Spider Queen was a joke compared to this monster. The protagonist was just as baffled by this sudden encounter with the ultimate boss. Hey, big guy, you sure you've got the right kid? The wild god's eyes burned like dying stars. Small human, do not play coy. My fourth son met his end at your hands exactly 1 month ago. A memory clicked into place for the protagonist. That demonic dragon I took down at the academy? Talk about rotten luck. His very first kill in this world was the prince of a demonic empire. High above, Lu Lim was a streak of light, standing atop her flying blade as she raced toward the protagonist's coordinates. Her mentor struggled to keep pace. Disciple, slow down. Wait for your old master. Lu Lim didn't look back. Master, what are you even doing here? The teacher sighed in frustration. You think I'd let you go alone? If the wild god truly descends, that boy won't be the only one in danger. That kid is a spark of hope for our race, and the wild god will definitely try to snuff you out alongside him. Lu Lim pouted, her voice cold. I'm not racing to rescue him. If I'm going to cut him down myself, then I'd consider it. The old man just shook his head. I know you better than that. You play the part of the arrogant, heartless demon queen perfectly. But deep down, you're softer than anyone. You can't stand the sight of our people suffering. If there's a life to be saved, you're the first one into the fire. The sky above the city was now a swirling vortex of dark energy, impossible for anyone to miss. Lu Lim gazed at the horizon. She couldn't pinpoint the exact threat yet, but the sheer malevolence in the air was a terrible omen. The teacher's voice was grim. That's the wild god's signature aura. I didn't think he'd move this fast. We are in deep trouble. Lu Lim tried to find a silver lining. The wild god's physical form is too massive to fully manifest here. Tatram might still have a fighting chance. The mentor's outlook remained bleak. It's too late. Even if he can't step through the rift personally, he has a million ways to obliterate a boy. Compared to a god, Tatram is just a grain of sand. Facing an existential crisis, the protagonist turned to his strategist friend, Tulong.
Tell me there's an exit strategy. Tu Long's voice was hollow. If the wild god decides to strike personally, our survival rate is exactly 0. The wild god's voice boomed with cosmic arrogance. Pitiful gnats, you flatter yourselves. Do you truly think you're worthy of a direct blow from a god? I shall rain down a celestial plague. I'll turn this entire metropolis into a tomb. Every human soul here will be sacrificed to accompany my son to the afterlife. The wild god lunged forward, tearing a jagged hole in the fabric of reality. The protagonist stared at the rift. What the hell is that? Liloy's teeth were chattering. That's a space-time fracture, a spatial node. The wild god is forcibly converting this territory into a demon domain. Once that node stabilizes, a flood of nightmare beasts will swarm the streets. This city will be erased just like Bin An district was, everyone dead in a heartbeat. The protagonist steadied his breathing, his eyes sharpening. How do we shut it down? Tu Long bit his lip. Our only shot is to shatter that node while it's still fluctuating. But with our low stars, that's basically a suicide mission. Suddenly, a seductive figure stepped out from the shimmering rift. I have arrived, my lord. The cultists cheered fanatically. A succubus! She's at least a rank C threat, and her mental attacks are legendary. This demon domain will be unstoppable. Burn it all down. In ruin we find our new beginning. The wild god shall inherit the earth. The succubus bowed gracefully. Almighty wild god, I shall serve as the sentinel of this new gate. The wild god issued a cold command, execute the boys, then drench the city in blood. Miles away, Lu Lim and her master felt a massive ripple in the local energy field. Lu Lim's heart raced. This feeling, Master, tell me I'm wrong. The teacher's face was set in stone. You're not. The wild god has lost his mind. He's burning through an ocean of cosmic energy just to force a new spatial node into existence. Lu Lim's brow furrowed. At our current pace, the node will be permanent by the time we arrive. We'll be too late to stop the transition. The teacher pulled out his communicator. I've pinged the Alliance for an emergency backup. All we can do now is try to pull as many survivors out of the wreckage as possible. They pushed their speed to the limit. They were no longer hoping for a win, only to keep the body count from spiraling out of control. The succubus licked her lips, her eyes locking onto the trio. A god's decree is absolute. You and every soul in this city are forfeit. Once you're dead, I'll take my time savoring your corpses. Tu Long and Liloy felt a primal chill run down their spines. The protagonist's fury boiled over, white-hot energy crackling around his fists. I am not letting that happen! The succubus sauntered toward him, swaying her hips. You won't allow it? And who exactly are you to challenge the inevitable? Your permission isn't required. Without a word, the protagonist lunged, burying his fist directly into the succubus's cheek. The blow sent her skidding across the pavement. She wiped a trickle of blood from her lip, her eyes flashing with murderous rage. You filthy human! Filthy! You dare mar my beauty? She threw her arms wide, unleashing her signature move.
Yeah.
She let out a chilling, melodic giggle. I'll drain every drop of life from your veins and make sure you feel every second of your agony. Liloy screamed, Avert your eyes! Don't let her gaze catch yours! The succubus laughed at their struggle. My charm is a force of nature. Even with your eyes shut, the sound of my voice and the scent of my skin will rot your resolve. No man can resist my allure. Desperate, the protagonist turned to his friend. Tu Long, our defenses are crumbling. We're putting everything on you. The protagonist's vision blurred as the hypnotic spell began to take hold of his mind. By defying the wild god, you've sealed your fate beyond any god's mercy. I'll start by tearing that heart from your chest. The succubus was entirely preoccupied with her grim ritual to pluck the heart from the protagonist's ribs. Her overconfidence left a glaring blind spot, providing Tu Long with the perfect window for a silent ambush. The succubus gasped in disbelief. This is impossible. How can a mere man resist my hypnotic thrall? Tu Long calmly retrieved the relic. Terribly sorry to disappoint. My identity is fluid. Your gender-based charms have no power over me. Tu Long's precision strike landed with lethal force, ending her threat instantly. The succubus let out a final, agonizing shriek. To be taken down like this, it's so unfair. The zealots were paralyzed with shock.
What? Our succubus is slain? How can a mere teenager strike down a C-rank terror? My eyes must be deceiving me.
The protagonist beamed at his comrade. Outstanding work! Loi exhaled in pure relief.
That was a close one. Her mental magic was terrifying. I felt my mind slipping away. Thank goodness Tu Long was on point.
Tu Long remained humble yet pragmatic. She only fell because I caught her off guard. In a fair fight, a C-rank beast is basically a 3-star Secret Realm boss. We wouldn't have stood a chance.
Witnessing the death of his servant, the wild god's fury reached a boiling point.
Insolent pests! You dare defy a god? I will personally oversee your execution.
The protagonist defiantly raised a middle finger toward the sky.
I'm sick of your posturing. Why all the noise? If you're such a powerhouse, why don't you crawl down here and face us?
The cultists hissed in rage.
Sacrilege! You dare mock the divine? Such arrogance deserves a slow death.
Knowing the deity was restricted by spatial laws, the protagonist continued his taunts. You're stuck up there, aren't you? Otherwise you wouldn't be wasting your breath screaming into the void. The wild god sneered with cosmic disdain. A mere insect like you. My essence is far too massive to inhabit your fragile world. But the demon domain is already here. You are trapped. You will become carrion for my legion and rot in the dirt. A tide of nightmarish predators began to squeeze through the widening spatial fracture. Tu Long pointed in horror. Look! That's a double-headed demon hound! If we don't collapse that spatial node right now, this city and its millions of residents are finished. As it happened, the protagonist's primary skill was devastatingly effective. Its power wasn't capped by his level, but rather fueled by his inner fury, allowing him to unleash explosive, concentrated force. The wild god treated the boy's defiance as a joke. A mortal's ambition is a god's amusement. You are a fragile, two-legged creature. What could you possibly do to stop the inevitable? By the laws of common sense, the task was impossible, but a hero fueled by destiny doesn't care for logic. Shatter! The protagonist's punch connected with the air, causing the rift to visibly buckle and contract. The wild god's massive eye peered through the clouds in shock. What? The spatial node just shrank by a third? No wonder my fourth son fell. You harbor a power that shouldn't exist. The protagonist stood his ground. I told you, I'm not letting you set foot in this city. Gathering every ounce of strength, the protagonist launched another devastating blow at the heart of the rift. Realizing his plan was failing, the wild god barked at his minions, Intercept him! Kill the boy before he closes the gateway! The double-headed hounds began pouring out of the rift in a frenzied, snarling wave. The protagonist carved a path through the pack, pulverizing any beast in his way. However, the sheer numbers were becoming overwhelming for one person to manage. He realized he couldn't win this solo. Loi, I need a distraction. Cover me. Loi surged forward. On it! Hey, you mangy mutts, eyes on me! Loi struck a lead hound, instantly triggering his unique beast magnet constitution. In an instant, every double-headed hound in the vicinity pivoted, their eyes glowing red as they targeted Loi. Loi, surprisingly calm under pressure, even found the nerve to crack a joke. That's it, come to Papa. Hey world, hear me now. The wild god is my favorite son. With Loi drawing the entire pack away, the protagonist had a clear shot at the source. This is it! The final strike! With a roar, the protagonist's fist slammed into the node, forcing the spatial tear to snap shut. The cultists trembled. That kid, he actually sealed the demon domain? How can a middle schooler possess such reality-bending strength? This changes everything. The protagonist was now the primary target of divine wrath. My patience has reached its limit, to be mocked by a speck of dust. Even if the world's laws tear at my soul, I will crush you personally. Perish! A massive, shadowy hand descended, and for the first time, the protagonist felt true, paralyzing fear. He sent a desperate mental plea to his only hope. Is this the end? System, if you've got a backup plan, use it now!
The wild god's gargantuan palm slammed toward the earth like a falling mountain. Tu Long watched in horror, certain that his best friend had just been pulverized into dust. But the dust cleared to reveal the protagonist breathing and unharmed. I'm alive? Was that the system? He looked up and realized his savior wasn't an AI, but a legend. Mo Dung Lu Lim, she actually made it. The wild god paused, a hint of dark respect in his voice. Lu Lim, I recognize you. The most gifted human spark of the last 15 years. To block my strike at your age is a feat of true power. Lu Lim's eyes blazed with fury. You have overstayed your welcome. Begone! She swung her blade, severing the deity's spectral projection. The wild god didn't flinch. He laughed. What a wonderful bonus. Ending a talent like you ensures humanity loses a future 9-star protector. Divine art. Black Star Fall. The zealots fell to their knees in worship. The end is here. The heavenly swarm shall consume all. Lord Wild God is invincible. Let the old world burn so the new may rise. Tu Long's heart sank. It's over. That's an unavoidable, absolute forbidden technique. Just as the darkness descended, the mentor finally joined the fray. You think you can harm my prize pupil? You'll have to go through me first. He uncorked his mystical gourd. With a powerful suction, the teacher's artifact swallowed the falling black stars, neutralizing the god's ultimate attack. The wild god snarled, Cao Duong, so you've crawled out of your hole as well. Tu Long's heart soared with relief. Cao Duong, that's a 9-star human titan. With a powerhouse of that caliber here in the flesh, we're officially saved. Cao Duong hurled his mystical gourd, vacuuming the black stars back toward the heavens while bellowing, Return to the void that birthed you! The wild god snatched the gourd out of the air, leaving behind a parting threat. To be humiliated by inches today. I have never felt such burning rage. You will pay for this insolence. The gourd whistled back into Cao Duong's palm. He stood tall, declaring, Wild God, do not underestimate the resilience of man. We are evolving every day. One day, we will personally purge spirits and demons like you from our world. The protagonist slumped, letting out a heavy breath. Finally, the nightmare is over. The wild god's voice echoed one last time. The day will come when I, the wild god, descend upon this realm in full majesty. Seeing the deity hurl a final projectile downward, Cao Duong's eyes widened in alarm. This is bad! Look out! The sinister projectile streaked through the air, locked onto the protagonist. The protagonist gasped in a panic. What was that? Did I just get hit? Cao Duong rushed to the boy's side, his expression grave. Stay still. Let me check the damage. After a tense examination, he sighed. Just as I feared. You've been branded by the wild god. He's placed a soul tracking mark on you. He can now lock onto your essence and pinpoint your location no matter where you hide. The protagonist asked, his voice trembling. Does that mean he can just pop in and kill me whenever he feels like it? Cao Duong answered steadily. In theory. He could strike at any moment, but it's not quite that bleak. While the first wild god is a titan, the very will of this world prevents him from descending physically. Even manifesting a mere shadow drains his power. Furthermore, as long as you steer clear of hotspots like the abyss or the great battlefield, his connection to you will be muffled, and he'll only know your general vicinity. The protagonist pleaded, Then tell me, is there a way to scrub this mark off? Cao Duong shook his head. I can't help you there. This brand is etched directly into your soul. Only after you ascend to 8-star and your spirit undergoes a fundamental evolution can you purge it yourself. But look at the bright side. The wild god only marks humans he views as genuine threats. Those he fears will become legends. The thunder god bore this same mark once. So tell me, kid, what did you do to earn a god's personal vendetta? The protagonist figured it was obvious. I mean, I did kill his son. Isn't that enough? Cao Duong waved that away. Unlikely. The wild god has countless heirs. He only sought revenge today because his ego was bruised. He couldn't care less about the lives of his children. The protagonist pondered a moment. Then, was it because I shattered that spatial node? Cao Dong froze in disbelief. Wait, what? You destroyed the rift? I was so preoccupied with the wild god that I didn't notice the spatial nodes had vanished. To collapse a high-level demon domain before it even stabilizes, that's unheard of. Stopping a demon domain from manifesting is a feat rarely seen in the history of the Alliance. Did you honestly pull that off? The protagonist shrugged casually. There were plenty of witnesses. Cao Duong couldn't hide his admiration. Kid, you've just earned yourself a legendary merit. Lai Loi's voice cracked from the distance. Hey, less talking, more rescuing. Get me out of here. The ever-dependable Tulong shouted back. Hang on, I'm coming for you. Tulong wasn't alone for long. The elite Glory Blood Corps battle team had finally hit the scene. The squad moved in with precision to mop up the remaining double-headed hounds left behind by the closed rift. The young commander leading the charge roared, "Wipe them out! Leave nothing standing!" Tulong threw everything into the fight, carving through the hounds with renewed vigor. Lai Loi, gasping for air, staggered over to To Tram. Brother To, check it out. The Alliance's heavy hitters are here. I didn't think the Glory Blood Corps squad would show up for us. They're famous for holding the line against a massive monster tide. Their record is absolutely legendary. Lu Liam's voice cut through the chaos like a whip. To Tram! Li Loi leaned in and whispered, Brother To, is it just me, or is Senior Mo Dung looking at you like she wants to dismantle you? The protagonist sweated nervously. You hit the nail on the head. Those eyes are pure murder. She's not even trying to hide it. The protagonist forced a shaky smile. Senior Mo Dung. It's been a while, hasn't it? Lu Liam didn't waste words. She immediately hammered a punch into his shoulder. She grabbed him by the collar, pulling him close. Didn't you claim to love me? You love me so much that you were too scared to face me and sold your invitation to a stranger? The protagonist stammered, Senior, please, I can explain everything. I'm not in the mood for excuses, Lu Liam barked, dragging him away by the scruff of his neck. The protagonist lowered his voice, pleading,